Outer Wilds is one of the most unique video games I've ever played. In this video, my girlfriend Ellie will be venturing forth into the game with no knowledge of what it is. She'll have a few hours to make as much progress as she can while I analyze her journey along the way. Let's jump in and see how she did. Ellie began by waking up on some kind of foreign planet. Outer Wilds begins without any kind of cutscene or intro, you're just thrown right in. Thankfully, you start right next to a fire where you can roast a few marshmallows before the big adventure.
Is that in there enough?
I don't know.
Is that cooking?
After the meal, she spoke to a nearby alien who explained that she was soon to embark on some sort of launch, but not before retrieving the launch codes. At this point though, we're not really sure why we need them. A bit further on, Ellie found a small ship that she could try to land on some nearby platforms.
Definitely learning curve to this.
Is this gonna be important?
We'll see. In a nutshell, Outer Wilds is a game about exploring a solar system full of mysterious planets. That may sound almost relaxing, but there's a catch. Every 22 minutes, the sun turns into a supernova and destroys the solar system. Once that happens, or if you die at any point before then, you reawaken back at the campfire and everything appears to reset. Of course, Ellie didn't know any of this yet.
That is gonna present some challenges for me if that's a required mechanic.
She continued her search around our home planet for the launch codes, finding some interesting buildings and NPCs along the way. Despite the grand scope of Outer Wilds, it manages to maintain a decidedly cozy atmosphere. Everyone you speak to is kind, and a warm acoustic guitar makes this space-driven journey feel like a make-believe adventure in your own backyard. Eventually, Ellie found Hornfelds, one of the planet's astronomers who has our launch codes. With these in tow, we could prepare for launch. Well, that was a little strange. We'll just move along, I guess. Before proper takeoff, Ellie wanted to explore a nearby cave that could simulate zero gravity in a safer context. The cave also provides the player with a jetpack to really simulate the full experience.
Ooh. I take it this will be an important mechanic as well.
Right you are, Ellie. Right you are. Unsurprisingly, any space game worth its salt features some maneuvering in zero-G. Outer Wilds tasks you with maneuvering both a ship and yourself, with this section giving you some practice with the latter. Moving around like this is a ton of fun, but there's just no getting around the fact that it carries with it a pretty steep learning curve. Using the triggers on the controller will thrust you upward or downward, with the left analog stick moving you forward or backward in a horizontal plane. I'm not sure if that sounds complicated or not, but trying to get your bearings in the early goings is much easier said than done.
Okay, let's put this down. This is gonna be hard. Let's go to space.
It was finally time for us to journey out into the stars. Ellie checked out the ship, which essentially functions as a larger version of the one she piloted earlier. She zoomed out into the solar system map and set her sights on Brittle Hollow, the closest planet to Timber Hearth, our home.
Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Oh, that's the sun. Oh.
She started out a little shaky, but she was on her way. The ship features an autopilot system that helps you match the velocity and get closer to the planet you're trying to reach. Autopilot will only take you so far, though.
Oh, okay.
We ended up in some kind of black hole inside of Brittle Hollow, which teleported us back into space. She tried landing again, but suffered similar results to the first attempt, although she did come in a little more slowly this time. Without question, one of the most difficult mechanics to grasp in Outer Wilds is landing the ship. It's easy to enter into a planet way too quickly, which can cause you to either crash or skip the planet entirely.
Is this a planet? Looks like a black hole. Did the sun just disappear? Oh my god. Is that the sun? What is happening? Is the sun blowing up? Can I die?
Yes, you did. We were back again, after what appeared to be a system-ending event. This time though, we already had the launch codes, so Ellie was able to immediately take off and get back to exploring. She set back off to Brittle Hollow to give landing another try. This time, she approached the planet more slowly, and despite a bit of a rough landing, she managed to safely make it onto the planet's surface. She jumped out to repair the ship's components, and after that was complete, moved forward to see what she could find. She managed to locate some spirals on a wall. These are actually alien texts that can be translated into English with a translator tool that you always have access to. After reading the writing, Ellie went back to her ship and took off again. She set her sights on what appeared to be a passing asteroid.
How would you use landing mode? That sucks. I can't see anything. It just goes like straight down, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you are, in theory, if you're close to landing, then you would just need to see straight down.
Much lower gravity on this bad boy, so Ellie could really fly around.
Ah. Ah. I did not think about the fact that this was going towards the sun. I don't know how to get my ship. Oh, go back. Go back. Go back. Oh, these mechanics do not make sense to me.
Ooh.
Am I dead?
I think so.
I don't understand what I'm doing.
Back in space, we headed for the Attlerock, Timberhearth's moon. This area serves as a relatively calm location close to the home planet, making it a great first destination as you get a feel for the game. She came in a little hot, but she was alive. She hopped out to repair the ship.
Whoa.
What?
I don't know what happened there.
I feel like the sun thing happens after I only get like 20 minutes of exploration, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Before the sun explodes.
Ellie had caught on to the 20-minute structure. No matter what she did, the sun was going to destroy everything. I was curious if this would affect her playstyle, potentially making her less afraid to take risks that may endanger her life. She headed back to the Attlerock, given that she didn't really get the chance to explore it last time. Compared to a lot of the planets, this moon is pretty safe and easy to explore. Before long, she found a companion who noted that signals could be picked up easily on the moon's north pole. Once there, she brought out her signal scope to see what she could find.
I'm just flailing about on the planet. Oh God.
It seemed Ellie still needed to get a feel for the jetpack, but that would surely come in time. Back on Giant's Deep, Ellie found another friend, Gabbro, who seems to be the only other person aware of this endless time loop. Interesting.
So like, oh.
Ooh.
Okay, they do not make it easy. It should not be that easy for me to just go into space. I feel like I'm not finding enough stuff.
Hmm.
We can't really figure out if you're just not supposed to find anything for a while. Like, had you found more by this point?
Well, I mean, I would just say if it feels like, you know, it's kind of, you're hitting a dead end, you can always just go somewhere else. But, I mean, you know, it's also possible that there's stuff that you're just missing that, you know, you're not, that may be a bit hard, you know, harder to find.
Ellie had damaged her autopilot in that little crash there, so she had no choice but to manually fly through space. Despite having plenty more to find on each planet, Ellie was beginning to feel like she was hitting a wall. There's not a lot of guidance here, so I think she was feeling unclear on what she was actually supposed to be doing. It's one thing to understand that you can go anywhere you want, but that's no guarantee that you'll feel as though you're actually making progress.
Yeah. Ain't no way I'm landing on that without autopilot. So that's what happens.
Ellie decided to take some time to explore back home, given how often the other planets were bringing about death. She set out to fly to the other side of Timber Hearth, but before she did so, I encouraged her to take a look at her ship log, where her various discoveries were being archived. This web of information keeps track of the progress being made, while also hinting at where you might want to explore moving forward. After the examination, she took off to the other side of the planet. She actually flew so far with her jetpack that she ended up back at the starting area. Ellie was now out of fuel, and the ship was on the other side of the planet. Quite the conundrum.
I feel like I have no goals. I feel like I'm just wandering aimlessly through this life.
Ooh.
She started to kill the character so she could begin another loop. Something about this scenario was really tickling me.
You can't do f***ing anything without a f***ing jetpack. I believe this child has gone missing.
Ooh. We'll never know.
I'm not built for games like this. I don't have the mechanical skills or understanding of the puzzle and the lore and the what, how.
It's safe to say that Ellie was overwhelmed. I can't say I was surprised by this. Outer Wilds is a lot. Not only does it offer little in the way of direction, but also contains a lot of mechanical depth. Gravity is changing, ships are crashing, suns are exploding. It's a lot to take in, especially for someone who hasn't played that many games. Ellie next decided to head to a closer planet, the Ash Twin. At first glance, this planet is purely covered in sand and offers little of interest, but its sand is slowly being sucked up by its companion planet, the Ember Twin. Ellie jumped up high enough that she got sucked into Ember's gravitational pull.
I want to go into that. Damn. I think it's glitching. It's on a tree. My ship is on a tree. Can you hand me that pillow?
Okay, we were in a little bit of a low point, but if there's one thing they say about Ellie, it's that she knows how to get back up when she gets knocked down. She headed back to Ember Twin to—
Whoa! Whoa! How could I have predicted that?
Okay, we were back on Ember Twin. This time, it looked like we may have stumbled onto something interesting. Ellie discovered what appeared to be some kind of crashed ship, according to some logs that she was able to translate. It appeared that the ship crash landed on the planet, but what happened next was still unclear. She headed through the ship and into the inner portion of Ember Twin. It's a dark cave of sorts, full of twisting corridors and dead ends. To make things more interesting, the cave is slowly filling up with sand, as again, this planet is sucking up all the sand from Ash Twin. Whatever you do in here needs to be done fairly quickly, as you can easily get yourself stuck with no hope of getting out. The walls of the cave contained a myriad of translatable writings, which Ellie was quick to read. There appeared to be instructions describing how to reach some kind of campsite, presumably established by the individuals on the crashed ship. Ellie was on the path to finding it, but was also growing dangerously low on oxygen.
I don't remember where I came in from. Guess that wasn't a complete and utter waste and failure.
Think of this as again, a large space to explore. There's no prescribed order. There's no real expectation. You just do whatever feels right.
She felt like she'd made the most tangible progress on Ember Twin, so Ellie headed back there to see what else she could find. After translating some more and finding a scroll, she stumbled onto this planet's buddy, this fella who kinda looks like Humpty Dumpty.
How do I go down? I don't understand what to do when this happens to me.
Well, I would just, you know, you can see in the bottom left there that shape that's showing you in a 3D space where you're moving. Like those arrows right now are indicating that you're moving forward in a 3D space. So you can kind of use that as a guide. Ooh. You tried.
Lucky number 13. This time, Ellie headed to Ash Twin, fatigued from dying over on Ember. Again, at first glance, this planet appears to be pretty barren. But if you look at some of the landmarks spread around, you can see that the sand is consistently moving downward. Ellie flew around as the planet grew progressively smaller, but just wasn't finding a reason to stick around. She made it back to her ship, and given how close she was to Brittle Hollow, decided to park it there.
Okay. Could be better.
Could be better, could be worse.
Are these like hitting the planet?
Oh wow.
That they are. Oh, oh, oh. This feels really stressful to explore.
Whoa.
Ellie fell back into Brittle Hollow's transportational core, leading her to float back in space once again.
Oh no.
Back on Timber Hearth, we found some kind of seed that seemed to be related in some way to Dark Bramble. I think Ellie was starting to grasp how each planet is linked to the others. In other words, it's possible to find a clue here that's relevant way over there. This seemed to have Ellie inclined to try visiting multiple planets in a single loop. She made the trek over to Dark Bramble, safely landing on the surface.
This is quite an interesting...
Ooh, damn.
That really killed me? I didn't feel like I hit it that hard.
Yeah, I didn't think you hit it that hard either.
While charting course, Ellie fell back down to Timber Hearth, as she presumably didn't fly far enough away to be fully clear of the planet's gravitational pull. One of my favorite elements of this game is the physics. Playing around with the varying gravity of each planet never gets old. Thankfully, she managed to get back up and into open space.
Ooh.
So can you just like not go on that?
She tried flying to some kind of small moon, but when she flew in, it seemed to disappear.
This is not looking promising. I can't.
Ellie felt like she was running out of options here, so it was back to Ember Twin. This time she found some kind of strange dial that seemed to be tracking the planet's movement. Some nearby text also alluded to some kind of moon that would disappear if one were to stop looking at it. Interesting. Ellie was getting better at using her jetpack to quickly circumnavigate the planets, which is a really engaging way to move around. Back inside the planet, Ellie stumbled onto some kind of civilization.
Ooh.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh.
She found some more oxygen and lore, but at this point, the sand had already risen so much that she wasn't going to be able to fully explore this area. She did manage to stumble onto some of this ghost matter.
I don't know what ghost matter is. Are we dealing with real ghosts? Oh, I can't go in here. Is that ghost matter or the sun?
I think that was ghost matter.
Okay.
Seemingly content with her time on Ember Twin, Ellie headed back to Giant's Deep, attempting to land on the debris orbiting around it.
So is there a way for me to land? My ship on this?
Wasn't looking like that was gonna happen. At this point, it was pretty clear that Ellie had the basics down. I think she still felt disoriented, but she clearly knew how to get around and was more attuned with thoroughly exploring the space around her.
So is this not part of the plan? It happened again.
Oh boy.
Ah!
Ooh.
I didn't even need to do that. Okay, I can't go back to that planet. I'm done exploring that one.
At this point, despite the fact that she was continuing to find new information and landmarks, I think Ellie was just worn out. It's hard to continue forward in a game like this when your hand is held so little. It can sometimes feel less like a video game and more like a sandbox. That type of freedom is great, but when confined within some fairly strict rules, the player can actually end up feeling restricted and directionless.
My new thing is like dying, so why not try it?
That is a good attitude to have.
You better not throw me. Okay, what the hell?
Ooh.
Why did it take me through the sun to get to it?
Ellie ended up back on the Interloper, a passing asteroid, but it orbits really close to the sun, which sucked both her and her ship off the asteroid.
Whew! That was close.
That was close.
So the asteroid eventually kicks me off to go into the sun.
Well, I don't think the asteroid's kicking you off. I just think you're getting sucked into the sun's gravitational pull. Because it looks like like at a certain point in its orbit, it gets really close to the sun, so it's going to suck you off. Hey.
Not my fault. Not my fault. For the record.
What are you talking?
Because I was slowing down.
Well.
But that's okay, because I'm gonna fix it. Oh. Well, perhaps it's beyond repair. Considering I lost half my ship. Do you see it?
I think it's gone.
Well, guess we explore till we die. Oh no. That's that black hole. No. 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 No, 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 no. There's so much to explore here. Damn it.
She saw a lot of compelling sights on Brittle Hollow, but was ejected before she could really explore it.
See, this is all inverted.
What do you mean inverted?
I can't make you see. Listen.
Inverted
You see what you
means
wanna
that
see.
up
I
is
can't
down and
bring-
down is up.
I can't bring you into the world I see.
This time on Brittle Hollow, we landed a little more smoothly. For the first time, Ellie really had a chance to explore this planet before everything had collapsed. This one is really cool. She made it under the surface and began walking around the planet's structures. One of the coolest elements of Brittle Hollow is these transport tunnels that rapidly move you from one point to another. She found this chill banjo playing dude and learned a little more about her surroundings.
Which one?
I don't know.
Perhaps this was the wrong one.
Ooh. Wow.
Whoa.
Ooh.
The black hole absorbed me.
It looks like it. What do you think about Outer Wilds?
I think it's very cool. It's really exhilarating and exciting to discover things. Like that was really exciting, so it's cool how much you can find, and there's a lot about the time loop that intrigues me of like, are things different at certain times? Do things get revealed if you just show up to the planet at a different time? I can't figure out like what the mechanics are really hard. Like even though I know I'm better at them now, I still feel very kind of like I've got 8-month-old motor skills doing some of them. And I also don't know, like I can't begin to understand like how big the game is either. And so that can be a little overwhelming.
Outer Wilds is a fiercely unique experience. It's one that can take many hours to fully appreciate. I suspect that if Ellie were to continue playing, she would probably grow to like the game more and more. But as I've mentioned, it's a lot. It's kind of like taking a massive bite of food. Delicious as it may be, too much can still be overwhelming and prevent you from actually chewing. Maybe we'll revisit this game in the future, but for now, Ellie leaves the mysteries of Outer Wilds to be solved another day. While we descend back to Earth, why not check out another episode of the show? And if you'd like to support the channel, you can check out our Patreon, linked in this video's description. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.